The House will please come to order. All members take their seats. All guests, please clear the aisle. Clerk, please unlock the machine. All members present, please press the green button. All members, please vote the green button to record your attendance. Is there any member present, please not recorded? Please record your attendance. Clerk, please lock the machine. There are 64 members present. There is a quorum. All rise for the invocation to be delivered by Representative Solomon from the fine city of Warwick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Solomon.
Dear Lord, as we begin this legislative term, we ask that you guide us with your wisdom throughout the entire session. Let us always be mindful that as public servants, we carry the hopes and dreams of all those we serve. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Representative. Is there any objection to the approval of the journal of the previous legislative day? Hearing none, so ordered. Next order of business is communications. Clerk, please read.
To the Clerk of the House of Representatives, please accept a corrected list of members elected to the House of Representatives in the General Assembly in accordance with the certificate of election filed in this office by the Board of Elections on the 22nd day of November 2022, as provided by Chapter 3 of Title 22 of the General Laws. The corrected list adds the name of Lauren H. Carson, which was inadvertently not included on the list provided on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023. Sincerely, Greg M. Amore, Secretary of State.
Thank you. Please place on file. Any other announcements?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Representative Jason Knight is unable to attend session today, Thursday, January 5th, 2023. Representative Stephen M. Casey is unable to attend session today, Thursday, January 5th, 2023.
Thank you very much. Representative Carson, it's nice to have you join us. The next order of business is new business. Is there any new business? Representative Newberry is with new business. Representative McNamara is with new business. Representative Bennett with new business. Representative Azanaro with new business. Representative Morales with new business. Representative Norrie with new business. We will come back to new business. Representative O'Brien with new business. Any other new business? Leader Chippendale, you don't have any new business, do you? We'll wait for resolutions for that, but thank you. Okay, we can come back to new business. The next order of business is today's calendar. We do not have a calendar. We will now go on to announcements and introductions, and I call on Representative Giraldo for a special announcement, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the entire House of Representatives, I'd like to offer a sincere congratulations and best wishes to Senator Sandra Kano and my good friend, General Treasurer James Diossa, for the birth of their second child, a little boy named Alessandro. Sandra and Alessandro are very happy and healthy, and General Treasurer Diossa and big sister Ariana join in that excitement. Thank you to all.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to Senator Kano and Treasurer Diossa. We wish them all Godspeed and their beautiful new addition to their family. Leader Chippendale, please.
Thank you, Speaker. With consent of the Majority Leader, I am introducing a resolution to express condolences on the passing of former Rhode Island Governor Lincoln Almond. Obviously, it was shocking to us all when we learned the other day of his passing. Lincoln Almond, while I did not know him very well, I knew him enough to know that he was, while a physically imposing figure, he was a man with a wonderful smile, a wonderful laugh, and a heart of gold. Governor Almond began with humble beginnings and graduated from the University of Rhode Island, one of the finest higher education institutions in the Northeast, went on later to Boston University where he got his law degree. And of course, we're all familiar with his legal acumen, but prior to making his bones in the legal community in the courtroom, he was appointed to be the town administrator for Lincoln, a post which he then later went on to win via an election 3 times. He then went on to serve in the U.S. Attorney's Office for Rhode Island, in the District of Rhode Island. He served under 4 presidents, honorably, with great distinction and impeccable integrity. He is also notoriously the longest-serving U.S. attorney for the District of Rhode Island. He's perhaps well known for prosecuting organized crime, dealing with drugs, white-collar crime, political corruption, and when he decided to run for higher office, again, because he had tried several times prior, he found that this message resonated with Rhode Islanders who were still on the heels of the DEPCO crisis, which was devastating to so many families. That helped propel him into the governor's office, where as the first governor to enjoy a 4-year term, he served 2 terms. I think, in my opinion, he served Rhode Island during our last true economic boon. It was a wonderful period during the Clinton years in the 90s when Lincoln Almond was the governor. We had it going on in Rhode Island. He also understood that the tax and regulatory environment was strangling businesses and went to great lengths to change that dynamic. And Quonset Point and a lot of the marine trades and the things that we see now as productive contributors to our economy started in part with his support. Again, he was a physically imposing man, but just the kind of person who I believe many of us felt very comfortable with. He truly was a governor for all Rhode Islanders. It's sad to learn of his passing. Of course, we hold his family in our hearts. And with that, Speaker, this resolution shall be read at the rise, and I would kindly request it be left on the desk for signatures for any members who would like to join.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Speaker.
On behalf of the House, our condolences to the whole Almond family. And please send it up, and we will leave it on the desk for signatures. Thank you, Leader. Representative Norrie, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Announcement, please.
Proceed.
With the permission of the Majority and Minority Leader, I have a House resolution expressing our sincerest condolences for the passing of Rosa Fabiano, the beloved mother of our beloved Representative Arthur Doc Corvese. Doc, we all know, anybody that knows you, knows that family is admired and loved by you, and we are sorry for your loss. Mr. Speaker, I'd ask that this be left on the table for signatures and be read at the rise.
Thank you very much, Representative. Representative Corvese, our heartfelt sympathies to your whole family. Sorry for your loss. Representative Donovan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. An announcement.
Proceed.
With the permission of the majority and minority leaders, and on behalf of you, Mr. Speaker, and the majority leader, I rise to introduce a resolution in memory of Valerie V. Ranglin, the sister of former Representative Marcia Ranglin Vassell. Val was a devoted teacher for nearly her entire adult life, first in her native Jamaica and in Providence Public Schools since 1996. She taught at Roger Williams Middle School, Mount Pleasant High School, and Central High School. Val is mourned by 2 sons, 2 grandchildren, 3 sisters, including Marcia, and 5 brothers. I ask that the resolution be left on the desk for additional signatures and to be read at the rise.
Thank you so much. Our condolences to former Representative Ranglin Vassell. Representative Corvasi, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, if I may, I want to thank Representative Norrie and members of the House, yourself and the leader, for that condolence. Very much appreciated. She used to watch the proceedings. She would tell me, she would ask me, "You going down to the ledge today?" "Yeah, I'm going down to the ledge today, Ma." So she's watching from above, I'm sure. I have an announcement, House resolution for adjournment, please, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
This is for the passing of the Honorable Catherine Graziano, who was state senator from 1992 to 2002. She served in the Senate with distinction and honor. She was quite a pioneering individual. She spent her life in the nursing field and was the head of nursing at I forget which hospital it was. But she also was named chair of the Health and Human Services Committee, where she was a passionate advocate for health care for all Rhode Islanders. And she also had the distinction of being the sister of Senate Majority Leader John Hawkins, which I'm sure in and of itself was a Herculean task. I would ask that this be read at the rise and be left on the desk for signatures.
Thank you. So ordered.
Thank you.
Our condolences to the Graziano family and her daughter, Judge Graziano, as well. Representative Caldwell, please.
Thank you. Announcement, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
With the permission of the majority and the minority leader, I have a House resolution expressing deepest sympathy on the passing of Robert A. Walsh, who many of us might know is the father of our dear friend Bob Walsh, who very unexpectedly passed away at the end of December. Robert Walsh was from Cumberland. He was an avid golfer. He was a steward in his community. He was a proud father. He was a proud grandfather and great-grandfather. He would like to be remembered most, as Bob tells us, as a volunteer in his community in Cumberland and as a frequent volunteer at the Amos House. So Bob, we all love you. We're so sorry for your loss, and I would like this to be read at the rise and left on the desk for signatures.
Thank you. So ordered. Our condolences to Bob Walsh, a good friend, his sister, and to the extended Walsh labor family as well. Representative Solomon, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Request for an adjournment?
Proceed.
Thank you. I request that we adjourn in memory of State Representative Quentin Williams from the state of Connecticut. State Representative Quentin Williams, he passed away tragically this morning in a head-on crash. Another vehicle was going in the wrong direction and struck his car, and unfortunately passed away. Myself, as well as a few others, a few months ago, we had met Representative Williams at the National Caucus of Environmental Legislators and had some great discussions with him in Providence. He was a graduate of Bryant University, and he will be missed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our condolences to the representative and his family, as well as our colleague from another state. Representative Alzate, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Announcement.
Proceed.
The Black Latino Caucus will meet in room 101, please, at the Rise, and we will also be taking a class picture in the House Lounge. So we will do the picture first, and then we'll go down to 101. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative McNamara, please.
Request for a couple of announcements, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, first of all, I would like to congratulate you on your election as Speaker. I look forward to serving with you and the leader. It's going to be another great 2 years. We have a lot of accomplishments to build on. Secondly, I would like to join the minority leader in the passing of Governor Almond. I had the pleasure of serving with Governor Almond, and he signed some of the first bills that I introduced. We both had a great interest in traffic safety, and at the time, a 16-year-old teenager could take 30 hours of driver's ed and get a full license where they could drive on 95, drive all night, do whatever they wanted. As a high school teacher, I had lost several students. Governor Lincoln Almond had a joint committee on traffic safety that he put together. It was a priority for both of us. We got the bill through. Lincoln Almond signed it. Bicycle helmet bill for children. Lincoln Almond signed it. And aggressive driving legislation that he signed. And he had the courtesy to call a freshman legislator into the governor's office during a budget debate because, Mr. Speaker, you'll love this, he heard that I was nervous about a proposed people mover in Warwick. So they said down to the floor, we had 100 representatives at the time, they said, Representative McNamara, the governor would like to speak with you. Went into his office and he said, I heard you had some concerns about the people mover. I said, my concern is no one could tell me what it looked like. Is it going to be a monorail? And he said, you know, I can't answer that question, but I know someone that can. He called Director Ankner in. Director Ankner said, it's going to look something like this. We don't know if it's going to be little cars, but it's going to be nice. It's glassed in. I said, very good. I said, I feel much better now and I could support it. So he will be greatly missed, and he was larger than life, but he was passionate about everything he believed in. And Mr. Speaker, with that, I just want to mention how impressed I am with this freshman class. I mean, I've been around for several years. Your freshman class was very good as well, but this is, right? But this is one of the best freshman classes, and I'm particularly thrilled with the Pawtucket delegation, having taught and coached and been an administrator in the city of Pawtucket for 37 years. I am just so proud of our Tolman and Shehai Raiders, the Tigers, being here on the floor. It gives me great joy, and I think I'm very, very sure about the future, and I just love the fact that you're here. And someone from the Boston Globe called me last summer and asked me about Representative Carter. Mr. Speaker, it's someone that we know, a well-known reporter, and he said, Representative McNamara, did you know that someone is coming in or running for office that probably knows more about squid than you do? I said, absolutely. I said, I may have brought the calamari comeback to national attention, but I had the pleasure of meeting Representative Carter, and I said, I was just so impressed with a young woman that had this vast knowledge, and she certainly knows more about squid than me. And he said, you know what I'm going to ask you next? And I said, I probably do, but I will answer the question before you ask it. I am supporting her, and the question you're going to ask, the answer is this. There is no squid pro quo involved in my support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative McNamara. Representative Bella Wilkinson, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. An announcement, please.
Proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I would wish you all to help me offer congratulations to Technical Sergeant Roger Richards, who is retiring after honorably serving this state in the Air National Guard after 22 years this Sunday. So could we give him a round of applause, please?
Thank you, Representative. Representative Carson, please.
Thank you. Thank you,
I can
Speaker.
say that now.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Request for adjournment.
Proceed.
Yeah, I would like to ask that the House adjourn today in the memory of Ronald Becker. Ronald Becker was a Newporter who died December 18th after a bout with cancer, and he survived by his wife in Newport. He was an actuary, but what made him a friend of mine and Chairman Abney's was that he was very involved in volunteer activities in Newport. He was one of the founders and treasurer of the Alliance for Livable Newport, and he also served on the city's Trust and Investment Commission because he had actuary experience, and he supported the Edward King Center by helping to start its Circle of Scholars program. And so he will be missed in Newport very much. Chairman Abney and I will miss him very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Representative Agello, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With permission of the majority and minority leaders, a resolution.
Proceed.
This resolution is in memory of Janice DePreet. She was the mother of Tish DePreet, a sometime lobbyist here, sadly now deceased, and the mother-in-law of our dear friend and colleague, Art Handy.
Thank you very much.
She passed away while we were not in session.
Our condolences, Art, to your family as well. Thank you. Leader Blazajewski. No? Oh, I'm sorry. We'll come right back to you, Leader. The clerk, please. You have another announcement?
Announcement from Speaker K. Joseph Sicarchi. The following members have been appointed to the House Rules Committee. Representative Kathleen Fogarty, Chair. Representative William O'Brien, First Vice Chair. Representative Patricia Serpa, Second Vice Chair. Representative Samuel Azanaro. Representative Arthur Corvese. Representative Grace Diaz. Representative Catherine Kazarian. Representative Brian Kennedy. Representative Alex Mauzakowski. Representative Joseph McNamara. Representative Brian Newberry. Representative Robert Phillips. Representative David Place. Representative Evan Shanley, and Representative Scott Slater.
Thank you. Leader Blazajewski, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the House. As we've just heard from the clerk, the Rules Committee has been formed. We anticipate that the Rules Committee will be meeting on Wednesday, January 18th. If you have a bill that you would like heard by the Rules Committee, please make sure it is submitted next week. Also, Mr. Speaker, the current rules from the 2021-2022 term are available on the General Assembly website. If any member would like a hard copy, please inform the Speaker's office. We'll be meeting in session next Tuesday, January 10th, and Wednesday, January 11th, both at 4 p.m. So that's Tuesday and Wednesday next week, not Tuesday and Thursday. We'll be here Tuesday and Wednesday at 4 o'clock. We may not be meeting on Thursday. You have received a new seating chart that will be effective next Tuesday. If you have a new seat, please begin moving your belongings at the rise so everyone is moved into their new seats for Tuesday. And finally, a photographer will be available as previously announced in the House Lounge at the rise to take the photos for the legislative website and for official purposes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Representative Sanchez, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to make an announcement. I would like to recognize our National Guard members and our workers from the Amos House, from the Cranston Armory, and all the great work that they've been doing working with dealing with the homelessness crisis. And they've been doing a great job and being there for the folks there who are staying there at the temporary shelter. I've seen firsthand, I've been going to the Cranston Armory since it was opened up, and it's really appreciative of what the Rhode Island National Guard and folks from the Amos House are doing to be there for folks, and just would like to recognize them and to say thank you for all the hard work that they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Agello, please, for the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I neglected to mention that I had a resolution drafted remembering Janice DePreet, and would ask that that be left on the desk for signatures.
And read at the rise.
And read at the rise.
Thank you. So ordered. Yes, the board is clear. I'll go back for new business today. One last time, any new business. Representative Azanaro with new business. Representative Edwards with new business. Representative Solomon with new business. Any other new business? Representative Vella Wilkinson with new business. The House will be at ease for 1 minute. One last call for new business. I'm sorry, we have a little light. Representative Vella Wilkinson for the second time. You're light. No, pass. Last call for new business. Representative Kazarian with new business. Representative Tanzi, do you have new business? No new business. Thank you. I have several resolutions. I have a House resolution expressing the deepest condolences on the passing of the Honorable Lincoln Almond. I have a House resolution expressing condolences on the passing of Rosa Fabiano. I have a House resolution expressing the deepest condolences on the passing of Valerie Ranglin. I have a House resolution expressing condolences on the passing of the Honorable Catherine Graziano. I have a House resolution expressing the passing on Robert A. Walsh. And finally, I have a House resolution expressing sympathy on the passing of Janice DePreet. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution passed. So ordered. Leader Blazajewski moves the House adjourn in memory of Rosa Fabiano, Valerie Ranglin, the Honorable Catherine Graziano, Robert Walsh, Ronald Becker, Janice DePreet, and Quentin Williams, as well as Governor Almond, seconded by Leader Chippendale. All rise for a moment of silence, please. The House is adjourned. The desk shall remain open.
House resolution extending deepest condolences on the passing of the Honorable Catherine E. Graziano, registered nurse, PhD. Whereas it is with deep sadness that this House has learned of the passing of Honorable Catherine Graziano, the beloved wife of the late Louis Graziano, and a well-respected nursing professional and former member of the Rhode Island State Senate. And whereas, born Catherine E. Hawkins, she was a daughter of the late William and Catherine Hawkins, and the sister of the late Sister Mary Macrina Hawkins, RSM, William Hawkins, and John Hawkins. She was the cherished mother of Mary Pontarelli and her husband Michael, William Graziano and his wife Jodie, Catherine Graziano and her husband John Ryan, Paul Graziano and his wife Sarah, Carol McLean and her husband Gavin, and the late Louis Graziano and Joseph Graziano. She was also the beloved grandmother of 7 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, and many nieces and nephews and cousins. And whereas Mrs. Graziano was a graduate of St. Xavier Academy and earned a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing at Salve Regina University. Upon graduation, she took a position as a professor of nursing and later as the chair of the nursing department at Salve Regina until retiring in 1997. She had also worked weekends at St. Joseph Hospital in Providence for over 40 years. In addition, during her years teaching at the university, she earned a master's degree in medical surgical nursing from Boston College, a master's degree in health services administration from Salve Regina University, and a PhD from Pacific Western University. And whereas Mrs. Graziano has also served as an expert witness in numerous medical malpractice cases in Rhode Island and co-authored and contributed on textbooks related to nutrition and health. She was a member of numerous professional organizations, including serving as president of the Rhode Island State Nurses Association and a member of the American Nurses Association, National League for Nursing, and accreditation visitor for collegiate programs in nursing. And whereas the Honorable Catherine Graziano was elected to the Rhode Island State Senate in 1992 and served until 2002, earning the respect of her fellow senators, she was named chair of the Health and Human Services Committee, where she fought for issues related to health care, the elderly, education, pay equity, and environmental issues, and was the proud sponsor of the Safe Haven legislation. And whereas recognized and highly regarded in the nursing profession, as well as her efforts in the legislature, Mrs. Graziano was honored as the first recipient of the Rhode Island State Nurses Association Award for Outstanding Nursing Educator in Rhode Island, received the Bishop Mulvey Award as Outstanding Pro-Life Legislator, and a Right to Life Recognition Award, as well as many additional accolades and awards. She had also volunteered her time with many altruistic organizations and was a devoted parishioner of St. Thomas Church. And whereas the Honorable Catherine Graziano was a devoted wife, mother, and grandmother, a nursing professional, and a legislator, she was a role model to generations of nursing students and leaves a legacy of commitment and perseverance that will long be remembered. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this House of Representatives hereby expresses deepest condolences on the passing of the Honorable Catherine E. Graziano, and be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit duly certified copies of this resolution to Mary Pontarelli and family, William Graziano and family, Catherine Graziano and family, Paul Graziano and family, and Carol McLean and family. House resolution expressing deepest condolences on the passing of Valerie V. Ranglin. Whereas it is with deep sadness that this House has learned of the passing of Valerie Ranglin, Born in Jamaica, West Indies, she was the daughter of the late George Ranglin and Mavis Estriana Ranglin. And whereas from an early age, Ms. Ranglin was taught the value of education from her parents. She was a precocious reader as a youngster who loved books and could read and write proficiently even before she entered preschool. And whereas Ms. Ranglin attended Bull Bay All-Age School and Morant Bay High School, where she excelled as a student. After high school, she attended Micro Teachers College, graduating with high honors with a degree in library studies, and later attended the University of West Indies and earned a bachelor's degree in education. And whereas Ms. Ranglin became one of the first youngsters from her neighborhood to attend high school or college, and only the second person in her district to become a college-trained teacher. Together with her brother Lloyd, she founded the Golden Dragon Youth Club, a community organization dedicated to serving children. And whereas Valerie Ranglin began her distinguished public career as a library assistant at the Supreme Court in Jamaica, deciding that her calling was to serve as a teacher, she soon accepted a position with Trinityville High School in St. Thomas, Jamaica, and later accepted a position with the Windward Road All-Age School, followed by a position at Camperdown High School. And whereas in 1970, Ms. Ranglin moved to Rhode Island and worked at the Spiegel Jewelry Factory in Providence. Shortly thereafter, she accepted a job with the Urban League of Rhode Island, teaching GED classes at the Welcome Arnold Shelter. And whereas in 2006, Ms. Ranglin accepted a position with the Providence Public School System, teaching at the Roger Williams School, a position she held for 15 years before moving on to teach at Central High School until her passing. As a teacher, she was highly respected and beloved by her peers, students, and their parents. She was always willing to do more and accept additional responsibilities in order to further student growth. She was selected to serve as the new teacher ambassador at Central High School, where she mentored new teachers and also served as the instructional team leader for the English Language Arts Department at Central High School. And whereas Ms. Ranglin was a woman of deep faith and a devoted mother to her sons, Kadeem and Rex Roy, she read the Bible to them daily and taught them to live their lives with dignity. She was also politically active and a justice seeker for people not sharing in the bounty of American life. And whereas Ms. Ranglin was also the proud grandmother of two granddaughters, Destiny and Genesis, and the beloved sister of Pearline, Lloyd, Birchall, the Honorable Marcia Ranglin Vassal, Basil, Donovan, Desmond, and Lisa. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this House of Representatives of the State of Rhode Island hereby extends its deepest condolences to the Ranglin family on the passing of Valerie V. Ranglin, and be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to send duly certified copies of this resolution to Kadeem Ranglin, Rex Roy Ranglin, the Honorable Marcia Ranglin Vassal, and family. House resolution expressing sentite condolences on the passing of Rosa Fabiano. Whereas it is with heartfelt sorrow that this House has learned of the passing of Rosa Fabiano, the wife of the late John Fabiano, and the cherished mother of our good friend and colleague, State Representative Dr. Arthur J. Corvese and his wife Terry. And whereas Rose, as she was known to family and friends, was the only child of the late Giovanni and Maria Di Pompeo, she was a lifelong resident of the town of North Providence, where she resided in the home of her parents, in the home that her parents had built when they married. And whereas, as a proud first-generation Italian-American, Mrs. Fabiano had spoken Italian at home and learned English in first grade. As a young girl, she developed a passion for theater and ultimately earned the highest drama honor during her senior year at North Providence High School. And whereas Mrs. Fabiano doted on her family, who were her greatest love and proudest legacy, particularly her grandchildren, Maria Lenz and her husband Matthew, and Christina M. Corvese, and their two beloved great-grandchildren, Alexander and Angelina Lenz. And whereas, in addition to making a wonderful home for her family, Mrs. Fabiano was employed in the accounts receivable department of the outlet company for many years until it closed, and subsequently worked as a senior operator at Blue Cross for almost 20 years before retiring. Whereas, an avid baseball fan, Mrs. Fabiano enjoyed cheering for her favorite team, the New York Yankees. She was a fabulous baker and cook, specializing in La Vigilia on Christmas Eve. She also loved to stop and read, delighted in everything chocolate and all things politics, which she most certainly passed down to her son. Whereas Rose Fabiano was the matriarch of her family, who has left an indelible mark on the lives of those she knew and loved, and she is dearly missed now. Now, therefore be it resolved that this House of Representatives of the State of Rhode Island hereby extends senti condoglianze on the passing of Rosa Fabiano and wishes her family peace, comfort, and courage at this difficult time. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to the Honorable Dr. Arthur J. Corvese and family. House resolution expressing deepest sympathy on the passing of Robert A. Walsh. Whereas it is with deep sadness that this House has learned of the passing of Robert A. Walsh, the beloved husband of the late Elizabeth Betty Walsh for 60 years. And whereas, blessed with a large and loving family, Mr. Walsh was the father of Robert Walsh Jr., Jack Walsh and his wife Annabelle, Kathy Lynch and her husband, Stephen, Bill Walsh and his wife Lisa, Christine Phillips and her husband Christopher, and the late Michael Walsh and daughter-in-law, the late Gail Colburn. He was also the very proud grandfather of Eric, Katie, John Jr., Angel, Lily, Christy, Maggie, Michael, Megan, James, Brittany, and Brandon, and a great-grandchild, Oriana. And whereas born in the city of Providence, Mr. Walsh was the son of the late James and Helen Walsh, and the brother of the late David Walsh. And whereas a loyal and hardworking man, Mr. Walsh was employed at New England Telephone for 45 years, where he had worked his way from pumping gasoline to the position of Director of Labor Relations in Boston. Whereas in his spare time, Mr. Walsh was an avid golfer, a longtime member and the past president of Highland Country Club in Attleboro, Massachusetts, where he formed many long-lasting friendships and perfected his lightning quick backswing. And whereas Mr. Walsh was also devoted to numerous altruistic endeavors, he spent many hours volunteering at Amos House, helping the town of Cumberland on various projects, and at St. John Vianney Parish in Cumberland. And whereas Bob Welch enjoyed bringing laughter to his friends and was quick with a smile, wink, or sign of the cross, he always let those he loved know that he cared, and he will be sadly missed now. Therefore, be it resolved that this House of Representatives of the State of Rhode Island hereby extends deepest condolences on the passing of Robert A. Walsh, and be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit duly certified copies of this resolution to Robert Walsh Jr. and family, Jack Walsh and family, Katie Lynch and family, Bill Walsh and family, and Christine Phillips and family. House resolution expressing profound sympathy on the passing of Janice Dupree. Whereas it is with great sadness that this House has learned of the passing of Janice Dupree, the loving wife of the late Honorable James Dupree Jr., and the devoted mother of Jacqueline Ann Zanini and her husband Michael, Kenneth James Dupree and his wife Caroline Greenbalt, the late Patricia Tish Dupree Handy and her husband, our friend and colleague, Representative Arthur Handy, Roland James Dupree and his wife Martha, and her designated third son, Bruce Lane. And whereas Janice Dupree was the loving daughter of Ruth Ellen and Caesar Thomas Cambio, and a well-respected lifelong resident of the city of Cranston. She was a woman of great faith, impeccable fashion, and gratitude for all that life offered. And whereas Mrs. Dupree created a warm and welcoming home where she doted on her family and particularly her greatest joys, her grandchildren, Alexander James Handy and Mia James Dupree, and where she sagely offered discerning, perceptive advices needed, and an ear to listen and a soldier on which to lean. And whereas, described as the epitome of a truly nice person in every aspect, Mrs. Dupree earned the loyalty and love of so many friends, including her cousin Gloria DeFalco, and the late Carol Malloy, and the late Janet Small, and her cousins Donald Cambio, Patricia DeFalco, Lisa DeFalco, as well as many, many others who filled her life with light, laughter, and love. And whereas Janice Dupree was a woman whose life was filled with grace, dignity, elegance, and humor, and she will be dearly missed now. Therefore, be it resolved that this House of Representatives of the State of Rhode Island hereby expresses heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family and the many friends of Janice Dupree, and be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit duly certified copies of this resolution to Jacqueline Ann Zanini and family, Kenneth James Dupree and family, Representative Arthur Handy and family, Ronald James Dupree and family, and Bruce Lane. House resolution expressing deepest condolences on the passing of the Honorable Lincoln Carter Almond. Whereas it is with deep sadness that this House has learned of the passing of the Honorable Lincoln Almond, the 72nd Governor of the State of Rhode Island. Mr. Almond was the beloved husband of Marilyn Almond for 64 years. And whereas Lincoln Almond was born in Pawtucket and raised in Central Falls, the son of Thomas and Elsie Almond. He graduated from Central Falls High School, the University of Rhode Island, and the Boston University School of Law, and served our nation with distinction as a member of the United States Naval Reserve Submarine Service. And whereas Governor Almond was a lawyer by profession, but became best known for his long career of honest public service and his deep integrity. He began his exemplary public service career when he served as the Lincoln Town Administrator from 1963 to 1969, where he fought vigorously to preserve public space and strategically balance the needs of residents with industrial development. And whereas in 1969, the Honorable Lincoln Almond was appointed to serve as the United States Attorney for Rhode Island, a position he held from 1969 to 1978 and 1981 to 1993, becoming one of the longest tenured United States Attorney in American history. As Rhode Island's top prosecutor, he tirelessly fought against public corruption, combated organized crime, and was a valued and trusted advisor to a number of United States Attorney General. And whereas in 1994, the Honorable Lincoln Almond was elected governor of the state of Rhode Island and served with honor, integrity, and distinction for 8 years. His tenure was marked by his middle ground approach to politics and policy, combining his fiscal conservatism with moderation on social and cultural issues. Under his watch, Rhode Island expanded its child health care benefits and its economic development and job creation, as well as supporting much-needed improvements to his alma mater, the University of Rhode Island. And whereas Governor Almond loved sports and was a loyal follower of the Rhody Rams basketball team, always a fixture for home games in Section 231 at the Ryan Center. He also enjoyed watching Red Sox and New England Patriot games and taking long walks with his wife Marilyn through the years on the beaches in Wellfleet. In addition, he enjoyed tending to his yard and lawn and riding on his prized John Deere lawn tractor. Most of all, Governor Almond was a loving husband, father, and grandfather. And whereas, in addition to his wife Marilyn, Governor Almond is survived by his children, Lincoln Douglas Almond and Amy Elizabeth Cubbage, and his grandchildren, Zachary Chase and Kevin Almond, and Emily and Sarah Cubbage. He also leaves behind his close friend and political advisor, John Holmes Jr., and was predeceased by his trusted and loyal mentor, Raymond LaFazia. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this House of the State of Rhode Island hereby expresses its deepest condolences to the Almond family on the passing of the Honorable Lincoln Carter Almond. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit duly certified copies of this resolution to Mrs. Marilyn Almond, Lincoln Douglas Almond, and Amy Elizabeth Cubbage.